dude, where he like literally will spend the first 5 minutes just locking you in, and then he trolls you in the end, and you're like, what the fuck? It's insane. Okay? He did this last time. He did this fucking last time where we were just like all convinced of the sussy baka. The sussiness of the baka. And then he was just like, April Fools, and was just fucking kidding. Was just doing a fucking April Fools for you. So I don't know. Let's just keep going.
Vary beyond the most
I don't know anything about this case, so please don't spoil it, please.
Forward aim of securing a conviction. Due to the morbid circumstances surrounding Kirsten Hatfield's disappearance, her family had long given up on the prospect of her safe return. They had, however, longed for Kirsten to one day be afforded the dignity of a proper burial. To this end, detectives reasoned that if they could bring Palmer to terms with the severity of the evidence against him and the futility of maintaining his innocence, perhaps, even if for no other reason than selfishly attaining a small sense of redemption, he would grant the Hatfields that tiny morsel of solace.
I run on nicotine and caffeine.
We're the same age, and I tell you anymore, I drink a lot of water. I had some stomach issues, and the doctor says drink water. It really helps with the indigestion real bad. And it's just chewing, but I won't give it up. But if I can sleep through the night or get about 4 or 5 hours without having to get up and pee,
yeah,
about 6 o'clock.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bro, speak up, motherfucker. What is this shit?
That's me.
It may seem gratuitous to include the portion of this footage that simply features one of the detectives discussing his indigestion issues with the suspect. However, it is actually noteworthy. In the Reid technique, the most widely subscribed school of interrogation, investigators are encouraged to spend a portion of time building rapport with the suspect before even discussing the case at hand, let alone confronting them. It's advised that the investigator attempts to find commonalities with the suspect to instill a sense of trust.
Buterol, sulfate, and something.
Okay. He's going to be nice to you anyway. Well,
I know you said no, but I was still guilty drinking.
It's a good thing both the murderers and the detectives oftentimes are demonstrate hog-like tendencies and will have like similar medical conditions, so they can vibe off of indigestion. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is called the Pepto-Bismol technique. This is called the Pepto-Bismol technique.
Go to somebody and
I'm offering. Wade and them have a little advantage over me, Tony. They've met you before, and I want to I thank you for coming down here to talk to them.
Well, you know, as a state employee, you know, it's something we have to do.
Well,
We have to abide by all
right. Well, we appreciate
law
it.
enforcement and all that.
And here's where we're kind of at. We're still looking at the Kirsten Hatfield thing, and we're going back and we're talking to a lot of people. And I know over the years,
You weren't there the first time they came down, were you?
you know,
no, I was with Miller the last time we came to talk to you about the other deal.
you over 17 years, I know in my life, I've changed a lot. And so we wanted to talk to you about if you can kind of tell me 17 years ago how your life was, how that neighborhood was.
In the lead up to this question, the detective is attempting to lay some potential minimizations of Palmer's crime. 17 years is a long time. I know I've changed a lot over that time. The idea being, when it comes time to go for a confession...
I'm sorry. I'm literally trying. I ran the ad already, and I'm literally trying to regulate the audio. It's not my fault. Okay? There's, like, he didn't regulate it. Like, I know.
Palmer might feel as if he has permission to partially excuse his actions. I was a different person then. It may be slightly too soon to even allude to Palmer's potential culpability. In the early stages of an interrogation, the usual protocol is to take more of an information gathering approach, establishing the suspect's baseline of behaviour for comparison later on. Still, it will be some time before the first direct confrontation, and Palmer certainly begins becoming more talkative.
What was going on?
Get a compressor extension? What else, dude? What else you want, dude? God damn, bro. Like, chatters are such fucking babies, dude. Jesus Christ. Just fucking lower the audio on your own. How about that?
In that neighborhood. I know I've read some of the reports that from the interviews before, and how
Edit the
it
video.
appears to me that they call you Uncle Tony around there because you care about the kids. You were feeding some of the kids.
Yeah.
And
Basically, when I
things of that nature.
lived there was a bunch of older people. That was like not no retirement place, but most of the people in that area were old retirees.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I like doing stuff all the time. You know, I was always outside, and if somebody's working on their vehicle, got to go be busybody, hey, you know, and help them. Or somebody's washing machine was broke down, and older people, you know, they can't, older people,
Right.
you know, can't do stuff. And I've always been mechanically inclined, you know, where I could figure stuff out, you know,
Right.
or help them move this, or, you know, just, I've always been, I don't know about friendly, but neighborly.
Right. Right.
And that being my first home,
Right.
you know, I tried to make it where that neighborhood was my home.
Yeah. Well, did you help any of the kids over there?
Well, when the,
Feed them pizza?
yeah, there's always, that's
You're
my
at
pet.
Kool-Aid house?
Well, I don't know about Kool-Aid. That's always been my pet peeve, is I grew up hungry. You know, and there's a lot of kids hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not where I'd go out of my way, hey, you hungry? But I mean, you see kids, you're over there eating something, and they're just,
Right.
you know, you see them draw it, here,
Right.
take it. I
Right.
can't stand that.
Yeah. As my partner, Lander said, we're still working on the Hatfield case, okay? And there's some things that we want to go back over with you. We try to be as thorough as we can be on cases like this, and I'd like to go back initially over some of what you've already talked to Detective Miller about in the past. I wasn't there. I'm kind of up to speed on some of it, but my understanding is when Kirsten disappeared, you were still living there.
Yes.
At 1104, correct? Okay. Do you mind just initially kind of take us back to 1997 and go back over that, maybe that evening before and into that morning when all of it all kind of started blowing up, and just best you can tell us everything you remember. And take your time. I know we're going back some years.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get that old timer stuff. But really the only thing I can really remember is afterwards, you know, when, you know, because it was just a typical day.
You remember anything unusual about that evening that stands out to you?
No, other than what I told them about, you know, seeing the white truck, you know, in front of the white Chevy truck in front of their yard.
Okay.
You know, I like I said, I didn't have anything to do with those people. Didn't know them at all. You know,
Okay.
It's not like I went, hey, yeah, you got little girls. No, it wasn't nothing like that.
Okay.
I was outside working on my yard. You know, either talking to the neighbors, or kid would come by, Tony, can you fix my bike? You know, stuff like that.
You said you didn't know them. I'm assuming you're meaning Shannon and
Yeah.
Kirsten?
Yeah.
Or
And I couldn't even tell you how long they'd lived there.
Okay. I was going to actually ask you that. So you didn't know how long they'd been living there when this happened?
And I going to think they hadn't been there very long.
And tell me what you remember about that. Do you remember seeing them move in or anything?
No. I'm trying to remember. A friend of mine lived in that house, I can't remember what his damn name is, but he had a janitorial service, Janny King, and I'd visit with him. I helped him put the fence up around his house.
Had you ever been inside that house when that gentleman lived there, William?
Well, yeah.
I'm assuming you probably saw Shannon and Kirsten running around the neighborhood and so forth.
To tell you the truth, until that happened, I think I seen the kid one time. She was playing with Crystal that lived up the street, but I don't remember if it was in that time frame or what. I really don't, because like I said, I didn't pay no attention.
If Palmer's innocence in this case was in any way possible, then the most suspicious behaviour from these last several minutes would be his consistent effort to distance himself from the Hatfield family as much as possible. He had a reputation as being a friendly neighbour, eager to help with repair jobs and who would sometimes give food to hungry children. There's nothing inherently sinister about any of this, in fact, quite the opposite, and having these traits would never make you the prime suspect in a child abduction absent any other evidence. But Palmer is adamant not just that he didn't have a close relationship with the Hatfields, but that he was barely aware of their existence, despite his neighborly reputation.
Okay. Do you remember ever, like, giving food to Kirsten or
no.
talking to Kirsten?
No.
Was she ever at your house?
No.
Anything like that?
Again, just imagine you were innocent of any wrongdoing and you were asked if you had given food to a child. Would your reaction be this strong? Firm, forthright denials can actually be a good indicator of innocence, but they're expected in response to accusations rather than innocuous questions.
So there was never any time
No.
that Shannon asked for your help to
No.
fix this or that or mow the yard for me or... Okay.
Just tell you the truth, the only, and I didn't even recognize her when y'all showed me the pictures of her. That was the only time I could actually say, okay, that's, I met her once afterwards. She was going up and down the street and, she was still looking for her kid and, I met her once. So I gave her some money so she'd have gas money so she could keep doing what she was doing,
Was this like in the days after or
Yeah,
talking a long
days
time?
after.
Let me bounce back a little bit. We got off a little bit off track. I was kind of having you go back over what you remembered through the night, and I read over the FBI notes that they took when they talked to you. I guess there was some information about you hearing dogs barking.
Yeah, I had a dog in the backyard. His name was Dog. About 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he went to raising hell. So I just, really, believe it or not, in my neighborhood, we still got skunks and possums and stuff like that, plus other dogs, So I don't know why that woke me up, but because I usually didn't wake up, and usually he's out inside anyway. But it woke me up, and he was barking at that back fence, at our back fence. But at the time, as you walk out my back door, I had an old apricot tree. So unless you went out there, you couldn't see. And I just hollered at him because, thinking it was another dog, because there was always, and traffic, there was human traffic back there. But usually it was other dogs, There was other dogs or cats. There was always animals through there. So I just, I really didn't think nothing about it. I just hollered at him and he came in and I went back to bed.
So you actually let him back into the
Yeah.
house?
Yeah.
So you opened, your back door, I'm assuming, and let him in? Did you go investigate?
No.
Did you look down the alley?
No.
Anything like that?
No, because usually in the past, whenever I did, that's what it was either another dog or people use that alleyway, to get through. Why, I don't know, because I don't know where you'd be going other than from house to house, but there was always, not always, but there was traffic.
Okay. And speaking of the alleyway, did you have any kind of a gate or anything that went out to it? So you didn't have access to it through your backyard?
No.
I think that'd be ideal to be able to go out into the alley and you could back a trailer up, and it just seems like everybody'd have a gate.
Well, the house next door to me didn't have a fence. So whenever I weed eated or, did whatever, because I always weed eated, 2 foot around from my fence, next door, and then that alleyway, which the alleyway was...
Because I read your statement, you said you saw your gate ajar. Which gate was that?
Gate ajar.
You didn't have a gate on the back or on the side? Did you have a gate on the side of the house?
Yeah, we got a gate. Well, it's a gate, but no, it wasn't a door.
Okay.
Anything else that night after you let dog back in? Did anything else occur that you remember?
No, I went back to bed.
I don't know what the there has to be a twist to this, because so far there's literally no fucking twist at all. Like, I guess the twist is that, like, I don't know, that he's like being relatively compliant. Like, I don't understand. Is it a bit harsh? I don't think so.
Being dog.
Okay. And then when did you first become aware of Kirsten was missing?
You know that I'm literally watching while also flipping fucking chicken tendies in the background, because that's what it takes, unfortunately, for someone to be able to stream for 10 hours in a row. So when you see that shit and you fucking turn around and criticize it or talk shit, I don't know what to tell you, because this is what I got. You can fuck off and go somewhere else. You know?
And all that's going on.
Well, the next day there was all that activity, and I asked the neighbor across the street what was going on. They said they couldn't find Kirsten, and I didn't think nothing about it, you know. I went to work, and then I don't remember if she called me or I called over there or what, and they said they was wanting people back, you know, because they wanted to go to our houses and blah blah blah. So somebody had called me and said that we were wanted back at our house.
Okay.
So I came home.
Okay. And then what happened?
I just sat there.
Did any of our officers or the FBI or anybody come by?
It was the FBI, you know.
Okay.
They came in, took statements, you know, walked through the house, and, you know, wanted to go in the backyard, and, you know, because I had a shed back there. He wanted to look in the shed, and...
Okay. So he did look through the house and look through the shed?
Yeah.
This is almost certainly a lie. In an earlier interview, Palmer had told Detective Daryl Miller that an FBI agent had searched his house the day after Kirsten's disappearance. When Miller went to verify this, he found no records confirming any kind of police search on Palmer's house in 1997.
You probably don't remember who that was, I'm sure.
No.
Okay. And was he just asking you general questions about Kirsten, and did you know her, have you seen her, that kind of thing, or?
Basically.
Did you write out a statement for him, or was it just a conversation?
I thought he brought out a statement.
Okay. Did they drug test back in them days? At your work?
Well, they always hung that over on us, you know, but we never had got UA'd.
Okay. So it was kind of the threat.
Yeah. There was some of them say, "What?"
You ever had any trouble with the law, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
Before?
Years ago, first degree burglary and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. I think I told your partner that.
Really?
Back when I was a dumb kid.
How long ago was that?
I think fixed to turn 18.
Oh, so you were just a boy.
Yeah. And all about it, my girlfriend.
Where was that at?
Walters, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay, up in Cotton County.
Yep.
In the last 17 years, Tony, have you changed much?
Here, the narrative of past regret that we saw a quick preview of at the beginning of this interrogation begins in earnest. This is a form of the minimization technique, where the interrogator will try to downplay the severity of the suspect's crime. Although neither detective has directly accused Palmer of any crime at this point, they'll know he's certainly anticipating it. Their strategy is to give him time to come to terms with his actions through the prism of having done it as a former self, a different man than stands before them today, a sort of redemption by way of regret.
Is this how you were 17 years ago? Just a hard-working man.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've changed older-wise, but no.
And I'm not the same person I was 17 years ago. I've matured a little bit. And
I wish I could say that.
life changes people, you know. As you get older, you start recognizing things that you could handle differently than what you.
It's
if you had it
always
to do
so
over again,
funny.
you'd change.
Like it's always so fucking funny when the way they minimize shit is like, you know, it's like he's trying to come to terms and he's trying to level with like a pedophile, and the way he does that is by being like, you know, I stole some cookies from a cookie jar one time, and I tell you what, I mean, it's crazy. I felt exactly the same way that you do. You know, that one time it's like, no, motherfucker, he just did a child assault, okay? You know, we all make mistakes. It's like, how, dude?
Change. You know, I can
Yeah,
truly
but
say
that's
that.
the thing. We can't ever change it.
Yeah, no, you can't change what happened, but sometimes you can make things better. I remember a few years ago, I went to my high school reunion, and I seen a kid that, honestly, I just tormented to death.
The detective now goes into an anecdote about making amends with a man he bullied as a teenager, and Palmer remains relatively reluctant to engage with the regret narrative, just letting the detective tell his story. This is fairly predictable as he knows what he's done and why he's here. It's a rather tedious portion of the footage to watch, which is why we're footing through it. But do note that what they're doing here isn't as meandering and pointless as it may seem on the surface. The interrogation itself hasn't begun yet, and the detective won't have any expectation that Palmer will confess to the murder of Kirsten Hatfield just because he's fessed up to being a bully in high school. All he's attempting to do is provide as much psychological cushioning as he can for Palmer's self-concept so that he might be more receptive to minimizations when his undeniable culpability in this crime is laid before him later on. He's just again establishing that your past doesn't define your present.
He still picks on me though, so he really hasn't changed his
But
ways.
see,
Once a bully, always a bully.
but see, he like
He asked for it.
next week he's gone fishing. The week before he was gone fishing.
You get to go fishing
Yeah.
for a week?
Don't
I call it
discourage him
vacation.
because when he's gone,
Do whatever you want to.
it's all right.
It's my therapy.
It's all right.
Actually, it is therapy. It's very good therapy.
It is. 'Cause I'm like you. I work. I mean, that's all I ever known was to work. But now my wife doesn't understand that working is therapy too, especially.
Well, I've always suffered from depression back when I was a young kid. So, and that always seems like working, I guess, gets your mind off of whatever it is you're thinking about, or, you know, whatever. So that's all I do is work.
It gives you a sense of accomplishment too. That's one thing we really.
Especially when your folks tell you that you ain't worth a shit, you'll never amount to yellow beans and blah 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 and blah blah blah. You know.
I know.
My only, well, the only thing that really, and that's probably getting completely off the deal, but when I left Walters, when I got in trouble with Walters, I was going out with an angel. I mean,
Good woman, huh?
my biggest mistake.
The first time Palmer engages with the narrative of past regrets, he states that the biggest mistake of his life was ruining the relationship he was in when he was 18 years old as a result of his conviction. The sly implication being that anyone guilty of child murder would not have the former as their number one.
Yeah, I fucked up big time.
Did you
That's the only time I can really
Just
say that I
lose
fucked up.
lose your temper?
Well, yeah, that's basically what had happened. You know, he was picking on her, and I had, like a dumb kid, had to go do something about it. You know.
Palmer appears to be attributing the motive behind his assault and battery charge in Walters, Oklahoma, to avenging his then-girlfriend's mistreatment by another man. The victim of the assault in question was his landlord at the time, a woman who would later testify at his trial that he was attempting to beat her unconscious with a soda bottle and rape her. Her teenage son was able to intervene and stop the attack.
Not necessarily a dumb kid. Sometimes men got to do.
Well, now, you know, there's other ways of doing stuff, but, and of course, I've been drinking.
Right. That's not the best decision-making
No.
process. Conducive to great decision-making.
Hey, to get back to what we're here about, I I mean, you've been living there all these years since Kirsten went missing. I'm curious about your thoughts on what happened, who might be involved, that kind of thing.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. Like I said, I didn't know him. But one thing that's always bothered me, that she left, the mom. She went to Jones, I guess, with her dad or something like that. You could have got me off out of my house. I mean, I know, what if she comes back, or, you know, what if somebody makes a call, or, you know, something like that. There was no way I'd left that house. That's the only thing that bothers me.
Yeah. So you felt like she shouldn't have left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever at any point over these years, or back when it occurred, have any knowledge of what happened, or know who was involved?
No.
Were you in any way involved?
No. No.
So you're not responsible
No.
for Kirsten's disappearance?
No.
Didn't play any part in that?
No. Like I said, didn't know him. Didn't have, like I said, I just barely, you know, might have seen her once, twice, playing with the kids, but other than that, I didn't know him.
What, just out of curiosity, what do you think the motivation was of whoever did this? I mean, why would this have happened?
Well, then I couldn't have told you, but after, over the years, you know, and hearing the rumors and this and that and the other, it always boils down to drugs. You know, I heard that she was on meth and cocaine and all this other, and Dawn's wife was the same thing. You know, she said, yeah, she'd been over there.
This is called I couldn't have done it personally technique, followed by, you know, maybe it's the dad.
You know, that night, and they got lit up. So apparently she did get lit up because...
Listen, boys, I don't care that chatters are being fucking annoying. I'm back.
You know, if somebody did come in, I mean, wouldn't you have heard it? I don't know.
So
but I know
does that
some
mean
people...
that she left Kirsten home alone, you think? Or?
I don't know, I'm sure she did. But I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know. And I really didn't pay much.
If chatters being annoying deterred me from streaming, I would literally quit streaming. Like, I would have to quit streaming if chatters being annoying fucking stopped me. You know what I mean?
Much offensive to Don and his wife. It's just...
where did they live? I'm pretty sure
kind of
that's
catty
all
corner
this-
for me.
Straight
In the White
across the
House.
street?
Not straight, just catty corner. A little White House, catty corner for me.
Okay.
And they had 2 or 3 kids, and I'd come home one day, I was rewarding myself. I did something, and I was stopped at Kentucky Fried Chicken, got me a family pack of chicken. I was going to go down. And the kids, whenever I walked up, they was just, the way they were eyeballing me, you know, like they hadn't ate nothing. I mean, they were really, if you'd have seen them, you'd have thought that too, because I mean, they were skinny. So I got me a piece of chicken, I was chewing on it, and they just, you don't want some chicken? Yeah. Is it all right if they can have this? Yeah. So I just gave them the whole damn thing.
From looking back over the history, I understood that Shannon's brother, I guess, stayed with you for a short time.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron.
Tell us about that. How did that happen? And
He was in the neighborhood, you know, he's apparently looking for, you know, his niece. So I'm out there one day, and he stops and he talks, you know anything, and blah, 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 you know, and we just got to talking, and, you know, he's living in a damn, you know, under a bridge, and dude, you know, I found out already that night that he'd been locked up, you know, so he wasn't a suspect in my books.
now, did you know Aaron at all before?
No.
So you'd never met him, never talked to him
No.
before either? Did he ever confide in you anything about the case or anything about
Just that
Shannon?
he couldn't clear his sister.
Chat, this is frozen rice that I microwaved and put in my and cooked with my curry sauce. This is curry chicken. That's what I'm eating. That's what I've been eating nonstop for the past month or so. There you go.
Those words will always, you know, I can't do it.
Microwavable bags of frozen rice.
I can't clear my sister.
And it's fucking delicious.
So he was suspicious of Shannon, huh? Did he ever give you any real factual information that would be beneficial to the case?
No, like I said, I'm here on my own free will. If I had any information, yeah, I'd give it to you. Because that'd be the same thing if something were to happen to my daughter. My God, yeah.
We've talked a lot about kind of the background. I want to kind of talk to you about some new information developed in this case, okay? As you know, Detective Miller got some buccal swabs from you.
Yeah.
A couple months back or whenever it was. There was a reason for that, okay? And we collected DNA samples from lots of people, but we had resubmitted some evidence from the case and got a DNA hit, okay?
Okay.
The reason those buccal swabs were being collected was we were trying to find the person responsible.
Motherfucker said, Masaman curry is boring white people food, dude. Yes, the famously white person food of Masaman curry.
Okay. We talked about, had you ever been in the backyard, had you ever been in the house, all those things, and you said you hadn't.
Not while they were there, no.
Okay. Well,
Sometimes, when a person is experiencing profound anxiety, they will release a small amount of gas from their upper digestive tract. If you pay very close attention in the seconds to come, you might be able to catch Palmer exhibiting this symptom when he is faced with the first direct confrontation.
I don't believe you,
Oh,
Tony.
Oh.
I don't think you're telling the whole truth, okay? Your DNA is in the backyard the morning that she was discovered missing, okay? And on her window, and on the panties she'd been wearing the night before that were recovered in the backyard.
no. No, not me, because no.
Denial in the face of such staggering evidence may seem farcical, but from a standpoint of pure self-preservation, this is actually the correct move from where Palmer is sitting at this moment. In the United States, investigators are permitted to lie to suspects about the evidence they have against them. It's a source of much controversy, but is not a factor in play here.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I find it far-fetched, but no. Because I don't know, I didn't know him.
And maybe you didn't know him, Tony, but we need
And
to...
I didn't have no business over there at all.
That may be also. What we need to talk about is what you were doing in that backyard that night and what happened. We need to get to the truth of
I
what
have
happened.
no idea what you're
Yes,
talking about.
in the United States,
Were you trying?
in the United States chats, cops can lie to you about the evidence that they have and be like, you're done. You never see that in movies? Like, they'll be like, you're done. The other witness saw everything. Chat lies to me all the time. Your friends ratted you out. It's over. Dude, honestly, like, please see yourself out of this community, okay? If you're backseating how I eat, that level of parasocial behavior is so fucking weird. Like, literally, just like, it's too much, man. It's too much. Please stop. Please just fucking shut the fuck up and keep it to yourself. Go backseat your mother, dude. God damn.
Trying to help Kirsten?
No. Like I said, I didn't know anything about them people at all. Nothing.
It's so weird.
Nothing. Never met them. Never said hi, bye, nothing.
Well, here's our problem with that. Is how did your DNA get there then? You're going to have to explain this.
I
If
don't
you were
know
there,
how I do it.
if you were there, if you were there because you heard her yelling for help from your backyard, and you go over there to see because you knew that her mother was a meth head, and she is probably at home alone, and you went over there to help,
No.
and you went to the backyard to avoid a conflict with the mother, and you was just going to take care of this
No.
little girl because just like you, growing up, you didn't want her being treated that way.
Not me.
That's how understandable things become.
The detective should be applauded for his vivid imagination in crafting the scenario. This is an alternative question. Investigators will routinely offer a more palatable scenario for how a crime may have come to transpire, as people find it much easier psychologically to admit guilt if the admission is coupled with morally justifiable conditions. This isn't just because such conditions might lead the suspect to believe they'll be met with more leniency in the courts, but also because it preserves the quality of their self-concept and the way they think they'll be perceived by others. The approach will not prove to be effective on Palmer, and this is understandable. There is nothing in the scenario he's being presented with that would explain his blood's presence on Kirsten's underwear, and he is rightly calculating that there is no circumstance that would lend moral justification to the abduction, presumably rape, and murder of an 8-year-old girl.
You like it?
I think I'm gonna do this for the first time in a long time. It's like fucking unbearable, dude.
I understand that, but I don't understand how you're
Maybe
getting
you-
my DNA.
Maybe, well, how is your blood?
I have no idea.
Well,
Y'all are being fucking super weird. The moment I called it out, like, more people started chiming in to be like, I know you're like joking. You're like, oh, just chew 15 times? It's fucking annoying.
I wasn't there at all.
we weren't there either. All we have is this, the evidence that was collected.
Hmm.
I didn't collect it. It was collected 17 years ago, Tony. But it's there. And we have to deal with this. And you're saying you were never there.
No,
There's no reason it should be there.
no.
It's not helping your cause. What's going to help your cause is to explain to us how it's there.
I
Because the
don't
fact-
have a clue.
Your blood is in that backyard the morning that she's discovered missing, okay? This is your chance, Tony,
I understand
to
that, but
Explain
what
that.
happened. Maybe you didn't mean
no.
for whatever
I was
happened to
not
happen.
there.
You were there.
You were there. Was
There's
you
no
in
doubt
a
about
depression?
that.
Was that a period when you were going through a depression and drinking and getting depressed, and you don't remember until later what actually
No.
occurred?
I don't even think I was drinking that night. Tell you the truth, I might have been, but I don't think so. And I was in bed. And
So
I'm
you
pretty
said
sure
you-
I don't sleepwalk.
This isn't a deal where you got drunk the night before and actually went through with some urges you had,
No,
whether you're attracted to little girls
No.
or whatever your
I've
thing
never
might
been
be.
attracted to little girls or little boys.
Good save. Covering all of his bases technique.
Well, once again, how is your blood there?
I don't know.
Do you not believe me when I tell you that we have your DNA?
No, I don't.
You don't believe me? This is our OSBI results. I kind of, no disrespect, I get the impression maybe you don't believe me when I told you what I told you. So I want to just bring you the copy directly from OSBI, and we've highlighted it here for you, okay? I just want you to understand that this isn't...
What the fuck does he know about this? Like, you might as well have a piece of paper on here that just says you're guilty. I don't think he knows how to process that information. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's guilty as fuck regardless, but I just realized the difference in the size of the chairs. I don't know if that's a technique or not, but like, he's literally in a baby seat. It looks like they put him in a fucking child seat in the corner, and they're over here sitting on like adult seats.
You see those odds? Those odds, I can just tell you from my years of experience, I've never seen at that level.
You might need to hire an astrophysicist. You want to fucking make sense of those odds. My friend, you might need to be hiring yourself an astrophysicist who's got a PhD in an Italian school. Make sure you justify them odds. This is what is known as the dream technique.
Which means this is your DNA. Okay, this is your blood, Tony. Okay.
Don't know.
Here is, that's Kirsten's panties that her mom identified that she had on that night. And that's where your blood was found, as well as on her windowsill. So this isn't just a, and just so you'll know, we also located some blood on the fence picket, and it's still out for testing. But I suspect that there's a good chance that'll come back to you.
I can't explain it.
Tell me what happened. How did you get injured?
I'm trying to figure it out myself, what all this is about.
I mean, this motherfucker was like, I've literally never been around this family. I've been around every other family, especially children. Sus. Okay. Super sus. And then, having said that, though, this particular family, I've never been around. I just, you know, only, just kidding. I've only been around when they look hungry. And now, maybe I was bleeding when they looked hungry. Who knows?
I mean, you were in some way injured for your blood to be on her window and for your blood to be in her panties. What I want to know from you, was there some kind of a dispute between you and Kirsten?
I had no dealings with those people, didn't know nothing about them.
I believe
At
that.
all.
I believe that. But I also believe that this is your DNA on her windowsill and your DNA on her panties in the backyard. Let me ask you this. Your wife told us that every year on Kirsten's anniversary that you're upset about it, that you go through a phase of being depressed and upset about it.
And the reason that is, it's on the news, and yeah, how do you feel about it? Well, yeah, I'm going to be upset. I mean, it's a missing child. Duh.
If you want to carry it to your grave and not do what's right, that's on you. But you need to think about what you're doing, because right now,
they're actually doing a pretty good job, though. They already fucking caught him. They already have the evidence. They revealed the evidence that they have on him. And now all that's left is like for him to tell the family where the body is. It's not like they need. I mean, it's always better to have a confession, obviously, but it's a pretty solid. It seems like they're gonna get the shit out of him.
Think about how's my damn blood or meat, because I was not there. And I know in that night I was in my same mind. Now read that deal again.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Well, it's pretty clear.
No.
You know how big sextillion is?
Huh?
No such thing.
Huh?
No such thing.
That's not a sexy number. Not for you, anyways.
Too
Yeah, it's too big. I mean, you can line people up from planet Earth all the way to the moon. You remember me, don't you? I mean,
Loki, Oklahoma cops are doing a solid job right now, which is actually surprising. I was not expecting that. This motherfucker peek at the camera.
No such thing. Too big.
yeah, it's too big. I mean, you can line people up from planet Earth all the way to the moon.
Oh my God. Bro, he literally looked at the camera. Look at this. This is the "you're fucked" technique, dude. He's just like, it doesn't matter no more. I'll do a signature move here.
You remember me, don't you? I mean, I've been working on this case for 2 years. Here, look at me real quick. I've been working on this for 2 years. I've got a little girl that's about her age, Kirsten's age at the time. And this case is all I think. This case has taken over me, and
I can imagine.
It's all I think about, you know. And I told you earlier on, you know, all the cases I work is crimes against children cases. So my whole life, I go home, I have kids. I come to work, I deal with kids.
The fucking dude is like, unironically, surprisingly chill for like someone who is mega fucked. You know what I mean? Like, he still hasn't like lost the plot, behaved in a way that is like shown obvious guilt.
You know, and you seem like you said in our past, you know, conversations we've had, all you do is you care about kids. You take care of the neighborhood kids, and you got a heart just like me. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out, Tony, is how is your blood, your DNA get on it? And you were there when I took your sample from you, right? We had an unknown male profile DNA on her panties and on her windowsill.
It don't make no sense to me.
All I'm concerned about is where's she at, Tony?
I'm sure.
Where's she at? Help me find her. I mean, we got pictures of windowsills and the windowsill that day, you know. We go right down the line with all these pictures, you know. You say, oh, I mean, everything, of course, today it's a totally different ballgame. There'd be 500 pictures of a windowsill. And it's all there. I mean...
Did you figure out the print?
Yeah, those were kids' prints there.
That's a vibe failure. Bro, this dude keeps burping, dude. It's so funny. The burp actually is not a failure of a vibe check. Contrary to popular opinion, being over the top gassy can either mean you're in a place of such profound comfort because of how innocent you are that you don't mind flatulating or burping, or you are having an unfortunate gastric reaction to the overwhelming guilt and anxiety that you feel. I really shouldn't be using this voice when I talk about this shit. I just realized, because like, I'm just kidding. That's like, I just totally made that up. And that's not like a real thing at all. But it sounds way more legitimate when I say it like that.
I was not there the day before, that day, next day. I know.
But we need to figure this out.
Yeah, you do.
But you're my key. You're the only one that can help me, Tony.
Cops never have working doors.
If I could, I would, because it's making me look real bad.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not going to hear, I'm not going to browbeat you, I'm not going to be mean or anything, but I need the truth. I understand.
I need the truth too.
I need to find her. I need to find Kirsten. Help me find her.
I can't help you.
Was there somebody else involved?
I can't help you on that either. No, I didn't help anybody or help myself take this girl.
Very convincing. Wow.
Now, how do you explain the blood?
I don't. And I can't.
You got a, let me see your arm. You have a scar on your arm. What happened there?
I was picking up a toilet bowl and it cracked
When was that?
last year.
Hey, I don't mean to be rude. I'm Major David Huff.
Hey.
I'm pretty much these guys' boss. The guys have been out there kind of talking to me about the interview.
And I'm here to tell you, you're fucked.
What do you say? Let's take a break for just a minute. I don't want you getting upset at us. We really are trying to get to the truth, but I don't want you getting upset with us. Take a drink of water. We'll just relax for a minute, okay? We'll just take a deep breath. All right.
Okay, this dude is literally, I mean, I know he's doing good cop, bad cop. But I am still shocked that a cop was even able to fake being good to this degree.
I
Can I go
know.
outside, smoke a cigarette?
Okay, he's now, oh, he's
Yeah,
out of
come on with
pocket.
us. You're gonna have to go with us, though, okay?
Okay, yeah, I understand.
Oh my
Pausing an
God!
interrogation at this point is a rare move. The standard practice is to keep pressure on until the suspect offers something investigators can work with, embracing the alternative question, for instance, or even merely walking back the extent of previous assertions. In this instance, however, Major Huff's
Are you fucking kidding me?
decision to break from protocol is understandable. The interrogation has now been going on for over an hour. The detectives have put their best evidence in front of Palmer and continuously emphasized its magnitude, but Palmer has stubbornly maintained his innocence. If the only goal was securing a conviction, they would have most likely charged him and let the evidence speak for itself in court at this point, but they are genuinely determined to recover Kirsten's remains. Their wager is if they afford Palmer some time to relax as much as possible, then perhaps he will be able to better process the circumstances, reconcile to his fate, and try to win as much favor as he can by giving them the information they need.
They can't allow Palmer to smoke in the area outside due to the presence of juveniles. So I'll have to let him smoke in the interrogation room?
I can't explain this.
At first I was thinking like, what? Fucking smoking in front of kids is wrong? And then I realized like, oh no, because he's a fucking rapist. That's why.
And the only thing that I'm thinking right now is, yeah, I'm being set up because we want to close this case. That's the only thing that's coming in my head right now. Seriously.
Okay. Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. When this first stuff, the stuff first came out, the DNA, I want you to understand how it works, because not everybody does this, so it wouldn't be uncommon for you not to know. The normal person that doesn't do police work doesn't know. The DNA that we got off of these panties, that was taken all the way back when it happened, okay? And it was put into a container where we could keep it indefinitely, all right? It's been there ever since the FBI took it. When they were helping us, it was there, okay? We had what was called an unknown DNA sample. We knew that it was human DNA, we can tell that.
That's true.
Oh yeah, right. We knew that it was human DNA, okay?
Whenever stories like this come out, I'm just excited that there wasn't like a black person in the vicinity. Because literally half of the fucking, I mean more than half of the fucking exonerations on DNA are straight up examples like this story, where it's just like an unsolved crime, but there's like a black male in the vicinity of the crime and they're just like, yeah, you did it, fuck you. Especially if he has like a record.
And we knew it was human DNA from a male. We can know that. What we don't know, when we got it back then, we didn't know the name attached to it. We didn't know whose DNA that was, okay? When the FBI and Detective Miller went out and got those swabs, okay, they got them from a bunch of people, all right? You being one of them. Then it was tested against a sample that was taken off the windowsill and off of the panties, which, by the way, I don't know if they told you this or not, but also has Kirsten's DNA on it. Because little kids, they do a little pee-pee in their pants and skid marks. So her DNA's on it, your DNA's on it, and it's also on the windowsill. That was all done way back when this all happened. It's just now that the DNA results have come back. And I don't know if they told you this. You seem like an intelligent man. So to help you comprehend when we're talking about when we say we know this to be a fact, the number sextillion, what this is saying, if you take a 1 and you put 21 zeros behind it,
Yeah,
it's yours. Anybody in the world, any scientist is going to say that that is your blood. Now, obviously, when we have a case like this, we're not going to, Mr. Palmer, we're not going to lay out everything that we know and everything we have. That's just not the way it works. It'd be counterproductive. We're not going to do it. There's more than this, but we want to try to get you to digest one thing at a time. Now, having said that, do we know all the circumstances?
This motherfucker needs digestion, that's for sure. Got him. Also, digest the ad at the top of the hour, chat. The sad reality is that I won't see what your reactions are because I've excommunicated you. Because you guys are being real fucking weird, some of you, about my eating habits. But that doesn't change the reality that it's top of the hour every hour and it's time for a 60-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see said ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use an ad block, or you can use a VPN. Here it is.
Circumstances surrounding what happened that night, we don't. Only God, the person who did it, and Kirsten probably know that. But I'm going to tell you this. We do know that Kirsten was wearing those that night. We do know that your blood's on there and her DNA's on there. And that is just an absolute fact.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
This is what I think. I think that you're not an evil person. I don't think you're an evil person. I've heard about your work history. I know all that stuff. I know you're a dependable person, a hardworking man. I think on this one night, this one time, for whatever reason, some demon inside you made a mistake.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know he's doing it on purpose. Like, he has to fucking lure him in with a false sense of comfort. But goddamn, dude, that's a vibe check too that he just failed. Doesn't that kind of feel fucked up? And also on top of that, like, if you're the criminal in that situation, like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, that's crazy that this guy's like very clearly trying to get something out of me? Because like no one would say that I'm simultaneously guilty of this heinous action while also maintaining the position that I'm a good person who like accidentally did some wrong.
The fact is there. Here's how we look at it. I'm about to retire. I know he told you he's got a young daughter. We want to know where this baby's at. We want to know where she's at.
Sure. No, I can't help you.
This is called I'm about to retire technique. Come on, just give it up, bud.